guys, it's me, Hazel. I saw that thing going around YouTube for a question a week, and I thought it very fitting that the one that I heard about when I heard about the whole thing was coming out of the broom closet. And I'm actually not doing the that whole vlog once a week and answer the question thing, but I actually have a very crazy story about coming out of the broom closet. Maybe not crazy is not the good word for it. Maybe a really rough time coming out of the broom closet. And so I thought I would share it because when I was going through this, literally one of the things that I did was I tried to look up videos of people coming out to their Christian parents. Because, I mean, you guys, I am so terrified that I would do anything. I would look up anything, research anything. I spent so much time trying to figure out how I was going to do this. So I found that there isn't much of anything out there about this, and everything that I found was gay people coming out to their Christian parents, which I might get a lot of bashing for this, but it's pretty similar. It's very similar because both of us are like this in the Bible, like stay away from us, right? Kids get kicked out of their home for this kind of thing. Obviously, I am not going to get kicked out of my house, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you my story, and I hope that maybe it helps somebody else. So I'm going to go way back. I'm going to start when I was 12. I started being more open about the visions that I was having. I started having visions when I was, I don't remember not having them. Very vivid dreams. I also had a little girl who would be around me all the time, and her name was Zoe. And you can ask, my sisters will tell you Zoe went everywhere with us, and my family chalked it up as it was my imaginary friend. Which, what parent wouldn't, right? I mean, you don't, like, look at your kid and expect them, oh, they must be talking to a dead person. Unless you're a psychic medium like me, then you would know. You would have seen it from the start. But if you're not, that's not something you would have thought right off the bat. So, guys, sorry, my hair is, like, super funky. Okay, so I started coming out and telling my dad because they started to get so vivid and so real and overwhelming that I was starting to get frightened, and I was starting to become reclusive, and I didn't fit in at school, period. And the reason being is because Spirit was showing me my life purpose at such a young age, and while everybody else was trying to figure out how their Adidas looked with their Jinkos, like, I was thinking about how I was going to help this person cross over to the other side, or what these fairies were doing inside of my bedroom, or who was this man that kept visiting me in the middle of the night and giving me dreams. Like, it was like the things that I was dealing with was not the norm, and I knew it, and I thought there was something wrong with me. I thought that I had some kind of mental issues. My dad took me to a doctor, and they said that I have severe ADD, and that was the big diagnosis in those days. Everybody had ADD. Everyone either got on Ritalin or Adderall. They couldn't stop what was happening to me, and they said that I wasn't displaying, like, symptoms of schizophrenia or anything like that because my personality wasn't changing when these things happen. They said that I would show different personalities as well as seeing things. Mind you, at this point, my family was not Christian at all. My dad was agnostic, and so coming out to him then was no big deal at all. Like, not at all. But I didn't know what I was coming out with. I had no idea what was going on. Nobody had any idea what was going on. So, they upped my dose. They upped my dose of Adderall. Then, on top of that, they gave me a second dose of Focalin in the afternoon to keep me going. And then they had to give me another medicine to put me to sleep because of all of these methamphetamines they were putting inside my body. I was getting so sick. I was zombified, and it didn't stop the visions from happening. I was zombified. I lost so much weight. By the time I hit 16, I was about 80 pounds. I should have been about 100 to 115 pounds. And 80 was like pushing it. I was probably more like 70, 75 pounds. My dad has a picture of me. I had this little skirt on and it was hanging off of my hip bones. I had no color. I was completely pale white from top to bottom. Just my blood circulation was not good. This medicine was killing me. So we decided to go to a different doctor when the medicine really started messing me up. We decided to go to a different doctor, and they were like, she's not even legally allowed to take this much. This is illegal, what he did. She cannot take this much. And so they cut my dose way down, and I went through like crazy withdrawals. And during those withdrawals, that's when I saw my very first angel. It was Gabriel, and he had a lot of people. Hang on, baby. A lot of people were like, you would have seen Raphael because he's the angel of healing, and I don't really care what you think. I'm not talking about the correspondences. I'm literally telling you what's truly happened to me. He came, and he just sat with me. He just sat there, and I feel like what he was doing was giving me the energy that I needed to get through this, but he didn't even move. He didn't say anything. I felt completely overwhelmed. Everyone's like, you didn't feel at peace instantly? No, I didn't. I was so sick. And it took some time, but he stayed there with me. And I think it was about the second day I started to feel a lot better. And I started to get color in my face again and all of this stuff. And then he left as soon as he came. Never one word, never said anything to me, never said Jesus sent me, God sent me, nothing. It was just he came, he sat. I was not afraid. That's one thing I can say. I was not afraid. I knew who he was. It was like I just knew. And then it was over as quickly as it started. I was feeling so much better, but I was still having these visions, and my dad was like, these people are wrong. This is not what's happening. Especially when my visions took a turn for a downside. I started to dabble into Wicca and witchcraft and all of that stuff, trying to answer these questions that I had. And, Micah, you're going to have to watch something until I'm done before I can put that game on for you, okay? Trying to explain what was going on with me. A lot of these people had visions too and all this stuff and blah, blah, blah. Come to find out, you guys, and I'm finding this out now that I'm on YouTube, every time you come across a spiritual person, who seems to have all the answers, or not even seems to have all the answers, but they have visions, or they astral project, or blah, blah, blah. 9 times out of 10, they don't. It's not real. They're lying. They're trying to make money, and I hope to be honest, I hope that one day I can use my gift so that I can bring in some income to help my husband a little more than I'm able to. I watch children now, and that makes good money, but I feel like I could use my gift for more and help him more than what I am. So I would really like to do that one day, but I would like to do it honestly. I've met so many fake people in this industry that I hope that I'm more genuine than that, and that I don't lose myself to making money, but that's a whole nother matter. Anyway, so it took a downside. I started dabbling into witchcraft and I didn't know what I was doing. Left a lot of doors open, and because I am also a medium, my beacon was out here. They say you're a light in the dark. That must be true, because it was like everything just came right into the house. Started manifesting in physical ways so that my dad, who was not a psychic, was seeing them, was feeling them, was being taken over by them. My sisters, it was horrible. That's when my dad was like, okay, there's something way more to this than just any kind of psychology or anything like that. There's something going on. My dad took me to see an exorcist in Oklahoma, because he told my aunt about it, and she's like, I don't know, but I've heard down the grapevine there's this guy, and he lives over here by me in Oklahoma. Go see what you can find out. And that started a whole domino effect that eventually led the family to Christianity, because we were saved, right? We were saved from this evil that was coming in, but it couldn't. People tried to explain me. They were like, well, she's a prophet, and this is a gift given to her by God, and all this stuff. And anyways, my dad through this became a huge Christian, and I became a Christian. I ignored who I was, because after all, I had let the evil in, and I didn't want to do that again. And so God was going to protect me if I became a Christian, and I was going to be noble in the eyes of my father, and he really respected me because of my gift, and he knew that it was real, and I didn't want to hurt him. So for those of you that don't know, my mother left when I was 7 and left me and my 2 sisters with my dad, and there was nobody else. It was me and Dad and my grandma occasionally. And my dad surely didn't know what to do with 3 girls all by himself, and it was a very difficult journey. So I'm not like any other girl that you will ever meet. I'm very different. I was raised by a man, and so I don't, y'all do the makeup tutorials. I don't know how to help y'all with that, because that is not part of my reality. So anyways, I just went through this. Then I went off the deep end. My suppression became rebellion, and I just partied, and I tried to drink my problems away. Funny enough, I found out that if you're a medium and you get drunk, it's even worse. Because there's no filter, and I start telling people all this stuff about their lives, and they haven't even asked for it, and I'm freaking people out because I know things about them that they are like, how the hell does she know this stuff? I become very unpopular very quickly. I become the weirdo very quickly. And so after that happens, I eventually, through all of this, meet my husband, and I knew, because this medium thing, I knew instantly the second I saw him, that was my husband. I knew, I'm telling you, I knew. I felt like this in the back of my brain, just and then there was this buzzing in the back of my brain. I'm telling you, it was a literal sensation. And I was like, okay. So anyway, we got together. We got married very quickly. We are very happy together. We work very well together. We can explode together. Like, that has happened. We've been married for 5 years and have 2 children. Um, Anyway, so after I got married and got out of my father's house and that kind of oppression was lifted, I was able to explore more of who I am without being afraid. And it was really good. And then I started the YouTube journey, and I met some really awesome people and some really, really shitty, crazy, fucked up people. I met some liars, lots and lots of liars. I met some fakes. I met people who wanted to pretend they were in Harry Potter land, and so that's what drew them to witchcraft, and they really were not into deepening their spirituality as much as they were about wanting to play spells. I've met all kinds of people, and all of them have shaped my journey. And then I made this video because I needed to release this thing that I had inside of me. I made a video about me coming out to my father. Not literally, I was pretending like the camera was him and I was coming out to him. Mind you, I was still going to his church and I was still like very involved, went to women's Bible study every week, was Sunday school teacher. I still wanted to be in the good graces of my father because he's all that I have. Like, literally, guys. And I was terrified to come out to him for real. So I did this thing on video, and I just, like, poured my heart out. Lots of tears. Because since then, my father went to school, and he became a pastor. He has his own church. That's the church I was going to. And I do not want to be the one that makes him look like a fool. I do not want to do it. So coming out to him, you guys, is extra, extra hard. I obviously am not a teenager, and I know maybe a teenager may be watching this. Sometimes it is best to wait until you leave the house before you come out to your parents about your gifts or your beliefs. Sometimes that is just how it has to be, and it sucks. But through the seclusion and the secrecy, you kind of learn deeper parts of yourself that you necessarily wouldn't learn if you were in a very open environment. So take it as a blessing and try to work through that. Now that I'm living on my own, I have been trying to figure out how exactly I'm full-blown going to come out to my father. He kind of knows that something is different. He knows that because he knows my gift, he knows that something is causing me to be distant. I haven't been to his church in maybe a year. And he calls me every Sunday, and he says, "Is everything okay? I just want to check on you," because that's how involved in the church I was. And it was a year ago, and my dad still calls me every Sunday. Makes me feel terrible. But I had to do my own research, because if I go to my dad, who is a theologian, and tell him I don't believe this, then I better have reasons as to why I don't believe this, and they better be legit. So that was another blessing. Was now I'm able to talk to other people about really why I believe the way I believe and have a legit answer for it, because if I'm going to go in front of my dad and tell him why I don't believe these things, I better not look like a dumbass and tell him like a little teenager, "Oh, I just don't feel, Jesus isn't real, because if he was real, why would bad things happen to me?" And, you know, the typical answers of people who really don't give a shit about religion. And I need to have legit, I literally have, like, dates in history, and, like, I've gone back past the Assyrian, Babylonian period. Like, You guys, I have like the whole thing out because this week is the week. I keep saying it for the past 4 weeks. I've said to myself, this is the week. I'm coming out this week. I'm coming out. I'm coming out. And I haven't done it. And it's because I'm terrified. So for those of you who are like really thinking about doing this, I get it. Like, it's terrifying. So I guess to tell you guys, for those of you who have not come out of the broom closet, 1, sometimes it's not safe and you need to wait. 2, sometimes it just needs to be your personal journey and you don't have to tell anybody. But my father is so much a part of my life. I feel like I am lying every time we talk to each other. I feel like I'm a liar, and that's creating blockages for me. And every winter I do shadow work, and this is part of the shadow work for me this year. Last year it was my mother. This year it's my father. I have to release this, and I know it's time, and you will know it's time too. If you don't feel like it's time, don't rush yourself. Don't cause a big load of drama if you're not ready for it. It's something that you need to be ready for. So here are the things that you need to be ready for. You need to be ready to get kicked out of your house. And this is mainly for people who have very religious parents. You need to be ready to be kicked out of your house. Do you have a place to stay? Do you have somewhere to go that's safe, that's healthy? Not your party friend who has people over doing coke and like alcohol every night. That's not the place you need to go. Do you have a safe place to go? If not, now is not the time. Are you ready to help those people understand with complete truth, honesty, and wisdom? Do you have the wisdom to actually let go of this religion? Do you have the wisdom? Because I'm telling you, I've done years of research on all of the things that I feel need to come up when I talk to my dad. My goal is not to change his beliefs, but to help him understand that I'm making a decision out of wisdom and understanding, and not making the decision because it's a fad, it's a fashion statement, or it's something fun to do because all of my friends are doing it. To be honest, none of my friends are doing it. I'm just now making friends who are like me. 3, are you ready to walk a lonely, lonely road? I think you might overestimate yourself in this area. When I mean lonely, I mean lonely. It doesn't have to be. You can reach out to people, but I'm telling you, here in my city, I have met 3 people. We formed a little coven together, and I actually have 2 people who want to come by and do an interview this weekend. 3 people, and I put an ad out. Listen to me, I'm a crazy person. This is how badly I am searching to become who I need to become, and finding like-minded people who can guide me, or not even guide me, but just walk with me, because it's so lonely. Nobody will believe like you. Nobody sees things like you do. Everyone thinks that when you're in this, walking this path, that you are like in Final Fantasy land, you play way too many video games, and you don't get out of the house enough. For me, that's not true. I don't touch video games. I feel like the electromagnetism sucks the life out of people, and they're not good for you. Especially if you're a psychic medium. So if you are on a video game too much, you might want to think about that. The other thing is, you have to meditate a lot. I am so sick and tired of hearing people say, oh, I don't need to meditate. Oh, I know how to do it just real quick. then you honestly don't have this gift, because I'm telling you right now, if you had this gift, things that come with it, way too much emotions coming from all directions, anxiety out of the wazoo. You have to be grounded. You got to be grounded, or you're just going to fly off on a whim to every little thing, and you're going to get caught up in the wrong things, and you're not going to be able to use your better judgment. So get ready to have to meditate. Get ready to read your ass off. You're going to need to read as many books as you can possibly fit into your little brain. Get ready for your parents to completely block you out of their life for a time. A lot of people, it's just for a time, but be ready for that. Do you get financial support from your parents? Because you're probably not going to get it for a while. Do you require emotional support from your parents? Because you're probably not going to get it for a while. It's really hard when you're best friends with your parents and suddenly you can't talk to them anymore. So I'm giving you the real scoop. Like, this is really what you have to think about when you decide to do these kind of things. And my best advice to you is to make sure that you have a game plan. Make sure that you are doing this out of wisdom and not out of curiosity. If you're still in the curiosity stage, don't even come out about anything, because you really don't know what you don't know yet. You'll get there, but you don't know what you don't know yet. If you're still in the curiosity stage. I am way beyond the curiosity stage. I am to where I can't fully live my life until I fully come out about who I am. Because, one, I'm about to lose my job because of it. I am a nanny for a super loving family, but they are super Christian, and they know the people at my church. So the second I come out about it to my father and my church, guess what? They are going to hit the road, and I'm not going to have them anymore for financial support. So I've been working my butt off in class getting my mediumship license, which is not cheap, by the way, you guys. It's costing me $1,000 to take this course out of my own pocket, to make sure that I can make a life for myself outside of childcare. I spend countless hours practicing my gift so that I am able to tune into one spirit and not hear all of these others. That's really hard to do, actually. It's very hard. I still haven't gotten it yet, but I'm still in the class and making sure that I dot my I's and cross my T's before I step out on this journey, which is another thing. Don't jump before you're ready. Do not do it. I'm telling you, you will regret it. And you won't get the fullness out of it that you'll get if you're really ready. Let me see, what else should you know about this? Because it's like a big thing. It's like planning for a trip that you're going to take for the rest of your life, because literally that's what you're doing. You're saying goodbye to everything that you knew and spreading your wings in hope that the wind catches them. So, I guess I'm going to leave you with that. And after I have the discussion with my father, I think I'm going to make another video about how that went. But I did also make this video to put out the energy and to ask for the energy, prayers, meditation, candles, whatever you can do to pray for me as I step out on that ledge and fully come out about who I am to my dad. Another thing is, I love, like, I love that. I love putting magic into everything and all of that, but from what I've seen on YouTube, and I said this before I shut my channel down, I don't fully agree with the witch idea, but I have my own broom and everything. I love magic. I love the knowledge that it requires. But I don't know that I identify fully with which. I think I more identify with not identifying at all. Because honestly, what works for me today may not work for me 2 years from now, because I changed so much. I think even in the past year, I've just taken leaps and bounds as far as my spirituality goes. So I'd rather not put a label on it. And so I think that's when I go to my Father, is how I'm going to approach it is, I'm spiritual. I have a relationship with the Creator, but not in this way. Which I'm expecting this is what I'm expecting. How could you do this after everything that happened to us all? You saw what happened last time you were into this. You're going to let this happen again? That's him not understanding the fullness of what this is. Or, how can you let my grandchildren be in a house of like that? How can you not bring them to church anymore? How can you, he is going to attack me through my kids. That's what it's going to be. So you're telling me that you're not going to raise Micah and Caden to be Christians? They're going to go to hell, Laura. Do you realize that? Do you realize that no matter whether or not you believe in heaven and hell, it exists? Hell doesn't care if you don't believe in it. It exists. And your kids are going to go because of you. That's what I'm expecting. Which, because I know the truth, that's not very painful. The painfulness is seeing his belief in it. He so firmly believes in it that it's going to tear him apart. And that's what hurts me. I don't want to hurt my dad. And I don't want him to live with this thing inside of him that says my children and my grandchildren are going to hell. That is going to kill him every single day, because that's what he does for a living, is he saves people from hell. And for me to be the one and to take his grandkids with me is going to just tear him apart. And when you love somebody, like I've heard people on here bash their parents, well, if they can't accept me for who I am, then they need to leave. Or they just need to walk off the cliff, because if they can't accept me, that's not how I approach this at all. It's going to hurt me because it hurts my dad. My dad is extremely loving, extremely kind, was the best possible parent he could be, and put me above himself every single step of the way. And as far as my Christian walk, I never had any horrid experiences. Everyone there was always kind and loving and put others before themselves, and took their weekends that they could be at home with their kids out at Budget Sweets handing out bags of food. These people are legit, and I loved it, but I don't want to lie. I still want to help in the community. I still want to do these things because I believe that they're right and good, but I don't want to lie. I don't want to live with that blockage in my life and creating more lies to cover up that lie. It's not worth it to me. And to raise my vibrations to the fullest extent, I can't be lying. I have to let go of lies. So that's my broom closet episode, and I hope that it's helpful to someone. And if you ever need prayer or guidance, or just someone to listen to you about coming out to your parents, I would love to be the one. So if you have any comments, just leave them down below in the comments. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video. I do have a bunch of haters out there that hate my videos, and they give me a thumbs down. So I just need as many of you to give me a thumbs up. I also would like to say how thankful I am to the women I've met through YouTube, how you have guided me with understanding and love the entire way. Thank you so much for that. You can find me on my blog at hazelsbroom.blogspot.com, or on my Facebook at Laura Elizabeth. All right, see you later, guys. Blessed be.